London, 1889. The gas lamps flickered as a thick fog rolled over the cobblestone streets, hiding something ancient within its mist. Locals called it Ashbourne Manor, once the pride of England's elite, now a place no one dared to enter. They whispered that the walls still breathed, that if you looked up at the highest window after midnight, someone looked back. Yet Edward Crane, a young historian hungry for truth, refused to believe in ghost stories. Determined to prove reason could defeat superstition, he set out toward the manor one cold October night, his lantern trembling.
Why did you
in the
come
fog.
back?
The gates groaned open, the air turned colder, and the silence around him felt alive. Inside, dust floated like smoke through the beam of his lantern, and portraits lined the halls, their painted eyes following his every move. The house was grand, but lifeless, or so he thought. When the clock struck midnight, footsteps echoed above him. He froze. A whisper brushed against his ear. "Why did you come back?" He spun around, breath turning white in the air. The portraits now seemed older. One woman's eyes, once open, were now closed. Edward pressed on, determined to expose the trick. Deep within the corridor, he found a sealed iron door marked with strange symbols in wax. Curiosity won over fear. He broke the seal and stepped into a hidden chamber beneath the manor. The air was thick and stale, heavy with the scent of decay. Dozens of glass jars lined the walls, each holding something dark and floating inside. When he lifted one toward the light, he realized, with horror, they were human eyes, preserved perfectly, staring back at him. Scrawled across the stone wall was a single phrase: "See what they could not." A large mirror stood in the corner, but it did not reflect him. Instead, it showed the manor alive again. Glowing chandeliers, music faintly echoing, and people moving within the reflection. Then, among them stood a tall man in Victorian dress, smiling coldly, Lord Thomas Ashbourne himself. Before Edward could react, the reflection shifted, pulling him inside. He now stood in the same grand hall, but filled with the living dead. The Ashbourne family seated around a massive table, eyes glowing blue, faces pale as wax. Lord Ashbourne raised a silver chalice of thick red liquid and said softly, "To eternal sight." They drank, and moments later their eyes began to bleed as they screamed in unison. Their souls, it seemed, were bound to the house, preserved forever in glass. Lord Ashbourne turned to Edward and whispered, "You came seeking truth. Now you'll see forever." The glass around him shattered, and Edward's scream vanished into silence. Days later, townsfolk found the manor's doors open, Edward's lantern still burning, its flame blue instead of yellow. His notebook lay on the dining table with one final line written in shaking ink: "The eyes are watching." After that night, anyone who dared to approach Ashbourne Manor reported strange lights and whispers. Several people went blind within days of entering. The government sealed the property in 1902, forbidding entry forever. But the story didn't end there. In 1987, a group of university students broke in to film a documentary. The footage was never released. All 5 disappeared. Only 1 minute of their tape was found, showing the main hallway where every portrait's eyes were moving. Authorities destroyed the footage, but rumors say a copy still exists somewhere on the dark web. Some claim that if you stare long enough at the image of Ashbourne Manor online, a new window appears, and in it, someone is standing, watching you. So the next time you pass an old mansion hidden in fog and feel unseen eyes following you, don't look too long. Because maybe it's not abandoned. Maybe it's waiting for someone like you to look back.